Hello, welcome back to the Games Kingdom. My name is Carl King and today we're going to be doing an unboxing for a new campaign that's going to Gamefound on the 27th of August from Phalanx Games, and it's Lords of Heaven. So this is set in the period of the Crusades. So what we've got here is a prototype, so everything you see here is sort of liable to change, but there will obviously be better components. This is, as I say, a prototype copy, so the game components will be of much higher quality. All of the buildings that you see you see here as tokens, there will be wooden buildings. The factions that I'm going to show you, they will have asymmetrical abilities and powers, and the rules obviously may evolve and change during the process of the campaign. Potentially during that sort of time there may be sort of fan input based on the rules that as they are currently sort of at the moment. And I've got a copy in here, but it's only sort of like printed onto some A4 paper, so it's not a proper sort of printed rule book as such. So this is as I say, a real sort of prototype, although obviously as you can see the box is, you know, very nice. It's a proper printed box, sort of back and front. So once we get into it we'll show you everything that's in the box, but yes, this is a sort of prototype copy that I've been sent, and thanks to Phalanx for sort of letting me do this for you and sort of showing you a bit about the game and what you're likely to sort of be able to see when you get your copy, when it is fully sort of fulfilled next year. So as I say, it's going to Gamefound on the 27th. There are some updates currently being put out by Phalanx, and Adrian has done several of those currently, and I think they're releasing those sort of every few days. So there's a lot already up there, including some updates. There's a thing that you can sign up for, and you can put your comments and things in and ask questions, and yeah, and you'll obviously get a notification when the campaign is about to start later this month. And yeah, you can do your pledge and you'll receive your copy in due course. So let's have a quick look at where we are at the moment with what's in the box, and sort of show you everything. So as I say, we've got I've done some extra copies of the rules, but these are the rules as I got them. So we've got as I say, this is just a sort of A4 printed rule book at the moment. So you'll get your usual sort of fare of a list of components. It will show you how to set up the board with all of the cards and things. It tells you how to set up your individual sort of player area, because you get some screens to hide your tokens and money and that sort of thing behind. And then you will get your action cards. So there's quite a lot of action cards in the game, and they can be played by different factions. Some can be played by all factions, some can only be played by their own factions. You'll get your own faction cards, so you'll get those as part of your starting hand, and then you'll get some more cards as the game goes on, and you play those cards for different types of actions. So every card has the ability to be played as one of 4 different actions in the game, and depending on where you play them, it will tell you on the card and the area of the card what the reward or benefit is that you get by playing that card to a set area. So you've got as I say, all of your set affiliations. So you can play as one of 4 different powers, or what 4 different sort of factions, and then you will aim to get the most victory points in the game, and obviously the person who gets the most at the end is the winner. You can play 2 to 3 players. Obviously it's better if you've got all 4. You can play 2 to 3. There's no solo mode currently, and I'm not sure whether there is going to be a solo mode for the game, but it's currently, as I say, a 2 to 4 player game, and you've got the 4 factions, which are Byzantines, Crusaders, Seljuks and the Caliphate. So you've got sort of you can have a 2v2 sort of situation going on, but you're all playing your individual sort of game, and you're all vying to take over the different cities on the board. So what else do we have? So we've got each of these boards here. So at the minute, obviously, they're just cardboard with your actual faction things printed on the front, and every one of the factions will get one of these. So, and they are basically all the same, so that you've all got the same tokens that you will put out onto each of these boards, and then as you take those off, you can put those tokens out onto the board, and that will signify you sort of having control or gaining control or looking to gain control in some of those cities and areas on the board. So I'll take some of these other bits out so we can show you. So these are all of the sort of city cards, and they will go out onto the board itself, and they are all double-sided, so you've got a 3 area card for each side, and then on the back you've got a 2 area card, and that flip side with the 2 is only used in 2 to 3 players. If you've got a 4-player game, you use the maximum on that side, and that just gives you more scope for people to play their tokens into these areas. And playing the tokens into these areas will also give you added benefits. It will also cost you to place your tokens out onto these areas, but then you can also you can sort of place your fortresses out, you can gain control of the city, and you can put a church or a mosque out onto the board, depending on which faction you are in the game. We'll show you some of the cards. So as I said, these cards are the faction cards, so you get 3 faction cards each, and that forms part of your hand. And then you all get a sort of dummy card which also goes into your hand, and then the rest of the cards are different sort of faction cards, depending on whether it's the sort of Muslim or the Christian factions. And then some cards which have those symbols on they are generic cards, so they can be played by any side in the game to do certain actions. So you're going to get quite a lot of cards there, more than enough to play through a game, and myself and my friends will be playing this next week, and I'll be back doing a bit of a sort of written review once we've played through the game. But you do get some nice cards there. Obviously, as I say, these are all prototypes, so they will be better done. They'll all have numbers in the corner, so hopefully there might also be an explanation in the rule books or in a separate sheet that will tell you about each of those cards and give you sort of an explanation of what that card does, just in case anybody is not too sure about what that card sort of ability is when it's played. Then each of the factions, as I say, gets one of these sort of dummy card, so you return this card to your hand, so every faction will get one of those. And then you will also get your own player board, and it will obviously have your own sort of clan symbols and things on. And then you will get, as I say, one of each of these, so there'll be 4 in the box, and you will then hide behind the screen all of your bits and pieces. But it's also got on here as well all of the different things that you can do, so your development, your presence, your movement, and your income actions. So there are those 4 actions within the game, so you can do one of these actions, and depending on where you play your card on the board, which we'll also have a quick look at during this video, you then take that particular action, and that reward is as shown on the card. So we've got some more cards here, so we'll just open these up. So these are your round cards, so there are 5, there are always at least 6 rounds, so you play rounds 1 to 5, But what you do is you've got a last round card, a round Y and a round X. You shuffle these up and they go at the bottom after the round 5 card, and then when you turn that over, if that was round 6, you would play a 6th round, then you would play a 7th, and then you would play an 8th. However, if that card came out first, your 6th round would be your last round in that particular crusade, and those 2 cards are ignored. You play through 2 full crusades, so anything between sort of 12 and 18 rounds in the game. So you could have the first one lasting 8 and the second one lasting 6, or vice versa, and then you will tot up who's got the most points, and the winner is the person with the most victory points. So that's quite a nice little thing that I've not seen in too many games, where you've got this sort of random potential end turn generator. So you're planning, potentially hoping maybe that the game is going to go to 8 turns and it might end after 6, and then you'll start that could be your first crusade, you'll start the second crusade, and again you might be hoping that it's going to end at 6 because you're in the lead, and then suddenly there's an extra 2 to 3 turns that you've got to sort of make good and to sort of hang on to your lead whilst others are still trying to catch you up. So that sort of thing at the end where you're all trying to sort of gamble on whether the game's going to end or not, I think that's going to be quite a nice little sort of addition and thing for people to sort of plan for. So what we'll do, we'll have a quick look at some more of these tokens and dice. So again, as I say, these are just prototypes. So we've got some dice here with symbols, so you've got like a wound symbol and you've got the fight symbols. So depending on what you're going to roll, you would roll some of those dice, and then some of these symbols are also on some of the cards that you would play, and some of the sort of benefits that you would get during the game, and that's how you sort of do your combat. You will work out whether you've won, and you can take control of the cities on the board. We've got some faction specific tokens as well as some generic ones, and we've got some money, so we've got some sort of cardboard sort of 1s, 3s and 5s, and then each individual sort of faction has their own set of tokens that you will have for your player boards. So those are your 4 player colours, and then obviously each person will get one of those, and then you've got some generic tokens that you will gain throughout the game, and there are some generic sort of game ones that will go out onto certain areas of the board. So each of those tokens will do something different. You'll all get a set of these tokens that you will put out on your board. So we'll just sort of show you one quickly. So we'll just pick the Crusader, and we'll sort of show you how this sets up. So these 3 cubes will go on the bottom here, and you can progress these up these tracks like so. And then we've got, depending on where the symbols are, you will put these here. Sorry, those are your coloured ones, and then you've got your grey ones there, and you've got these symbols like so, and they go into these spaces, and then you've got 3 of the grey ones each, so they also go out onto your board like so. So your board setup is going to be very quick. So that's basically how you set up each of your asymmetrical player boards, and you will be able to put these buildings out onto certain areas of these city cards here. So as you can see, this is the space for either a church or a mosque, so that would, you could potentially put that out there. You can put these onto these bits here, and each of those cities on the board have one of these cards on them in a set space, and as I say, you will put that on there depending on the player count, either on the 3 or the 2 side, and then your players will vie to put these tokens out onto these cities. So this is your city area, and this is your region area. So this is where you do your battles, and this is where you're trying to gain control of the city. And if you take control of the city, you take the marker off here and you keep that yourself. And then you've got these other little tokens like so. So these are your sort of influence and things tokens, and they will go out onto the board in various sort of areas for you to take control of. The board is quite big, so we're going to do this as best we can, and we'll show you a sort of side-on view of what we've got here. So as you can see, each of the areas here has got a space for a card. So that card that we pulled out earlier, we'll get one of them back. So you've got your Jerusalem card, so that would go there. You've got your Tyrus card, so that one would go there, and so forth and so on. And you will fill up the board with these cards. So you've got the Edessa card. So again, you'll see there that these items will go out onto the board, and then you can place other items and other tokens out onto these spaces as well as you're taking control of various areas. So we'll just sort of take those off, and we'll show you the bottom part of the board where the cards go. So we'll just sort of bring this in a bit. So this is where your cards go, your action cards, and then you'll play these cards depending on whether they are sort of face down or face up. You will place these cards here sort of going downwards, and then you will get benefits from those cards. And each time you place a card, it will have potentially a coin symbol on it. So you add up the coin symbol on the card that you've played yourself and any other coin symbols that you can see from previous players. So if this was played and then the second card came down as well, that to play that card would cost you 4 coins, and that would be the same for some of the other actions as well. So you've got all of the different actions here, and depending on where you play your cards, that's how you will determine what action you're going to take. Your round cards go into these areas here, and then these are your other sort of discard piles and things over here. But yeah, so it's a very nice board. I haven't flattened it out enough really at the moment to sort of show it off to its sort of full glory, but as I say, this is only a prototype, so the quality of everything that you're going to get will be much better than you're seeing here, as I say. So don't worry about what you're seeing. As I say, you're going to get a lot a better quality sort of product. But as you can see, you know, it's a nice, very nice big board, and then you've got at the top, you've got your point markers for your round points and your victory points here. So as you get your points, you will obviously move up the track. At the minute it only goes up to 26, so potential that this isn't a very sort of high scoring game by the looks of it. I don't know if there's going to be tokens where you can flip over if you get to the end and start again, but we'll obviously sort of find that out once we start to have the odd sort of playthrough game. But yes, at the moment, with only having a 26 point tracker, there must be some reason for that. So maybe some of the play testing only got to somewhere close to that sort of number of points. But as I say, nice looking board, some nice artwork on it, not overly complicated, so hopefully not too complicated to play. If you have a look on the, as I say, the Gamefound page at the minute, there are updates going up there regularly now about the game. You can sign up for emails, so they'll be sent to you, and will alert you when a new update has gone up with some new information. And at the minute, the updates are just sort of going through the different elements of the game. I think the latest one, as of today, which is the 10th of August, was about how the actions work. So, as I say, that will give you a better overview than I've just sort of flicked through on those cards, and how those cards work and how they are played and what you can do by playing those cards, so you can get some income. So obviously you need income to be able to play cards, so it's that sort of double-edged sword. You might need to think, oh, you know, I'm going to get extra income by playing this card, but I might need to keep that card because it's got an action that I really want to play. So you've got to sort of manage your cards in your hand to that extent, to sort of make those sort of difficult choices sometimes. But yeah, let's see how this plays. But currently, as I say, just reading through the rules and things, this looks like it's going to be a nice little game to get together. Hopefully somebody may come up with a set of solo rules, because I think this could be a nice game to play solo, but it just needs that rule set sorting out. Now maybe that's going to be one of like a stretch goal or an add-on or something, but hopefully somewhere in the background and further down the line there might be that sort of thought process. But if not, normally, you know, within a few weeks of something getting to people, a fan solo mode has come out. So, but I think this really could do with being a solo play game as well, because I think this is one of those games that's really sort of made for something like that. But yes, so that's a quick overview from me of Lords of Heaven by Phalanx Games. And as I say, it's now going to Gamefound on August the 27th 2024, and if you like the look of this, as I say, check out the Gamefound page, sign up for the updates, and yeah, it's one of those ones that I'm greatly looking forward to getting to the table, having a bash out with our group, seeing what our thoughts are, and then hopefully when we get the game next year, coming back and seeing how things have evolved from initial playthrough with rules as they are in August of 24, and see what happens with them at the time of a full release. So until then, it's bye for now.